Greetings guys, today I figured I'd do the Condor for you. Now not the particular Condor that you'd probably be thinking of. This is a brawly Condor. It's great to play with people's expectations, right? Cause most would be expecting the kitey Condor with like MWD, long point, dual dams, dual TD, some of that awfulness. But this is great because I find it's difficult to get fights in plexes if you're already in them. But a lot of people will stay and allow you to warp into them, hoping to catch you before you pull range. And this way they're very surprised when they see the web scram and the Neut and the rockets and all this. So this fit does do quite interesting things. I wouldn't particularly say this fit is top tier or even amazing, but I've been having good fun in this. And the Neut is probably the most powerful part of this fit. We're cap stable with it running. And basically what we want to do is like Neut out stuff, basically use our speed in our, I would like to say small sig, but our sig isn't particularly small because of the medium shield extender. But basically we want to get into guns or keep out of range in some way. If like say blasters with void or anti, we're going to be orbiting 5k. We should still be about in the optimal range of the T2 Neut. T2 Neut's optimal is out to 5k and its fall off is out to 7.5. Well, 2.5 fall off. So like that's basically the niche of this fit. It's like that Neut is basically what comes into play a lot in our fights, and basically our speed and our speed as well. But the thing is with the Condor is it does minuscule DPS, and his fitting space is quite poor too. But that's basically why it might be a bad idea to not use only bring Scourge ammo. But the thing is, with any other ammo, since the Condor's only bonus for kinetic ammo, you're going to be doing measly DPS, man. So just bring kinetic. If you need it, if you're forced to switch ammo, you're in a bad spot anyway. It's probably not an engagement you want to go for. But basically, you want to go for gunboats, especially ones in which that use capacitor. Tormentors, executioners, potentially be Atrons. You can go for rifters and stuff, turn off their E-War and then get rid of their guns. What I'd recommend you avoid is Tristans and Breachers, Kestrels, these kind of things that can mitigate their damage too well. But yeah, enough about the rambling, guys. Let's get on to the fight. Alright, let's first fight against Corsair. Basically, I'm hoping for this to be, like, ideally, dual web beams or single web beams, because I feel like I'd be able to get underneath this quite well. But this is a single web scram pulse Corsair. Basically, we get underneath these guns. It's going to be doing a little bit of grazings and stuff, but we're inevitably going to stick under these guns. I've got Rage loaded, because you want to use Rage against destroyers. Against frigates, you want to be using Kildare Navy. Just to add, I did lose a Corsair as well because it was starting at 20k and I burned into it. Don't be like that. The only reason we could win like this is because it started at 0. If you see a Corsair at like 20k or something, don't burn into it like I did. You want to basically just warp off or try and escape in some way. Because like, yeah, you basically need to start at 0 and get under his guns immediately. I turned off the medium shield center to reduce our sig a bit, but yeah, GF. Okay, I don't normally include footage as my Twitch in it anymore, but I figured I'd include this just to show how this went down. Fortunately, I made a mistake on the station, but I believe this pilot has null started. I want to orbit 5k and basically be out of his void and antimatter range. This pilot does make a very smart play in loading null. I'm pretty sure it is null. I could be wrong. But at one point, we end up pulling a range quite far out, and you're still getting hits, which is, I feel like, is the right play. Loading null, because basically I wanted to orbit at 5k, hope that a Neut does more than what it does, but unfortunately once we pull out like this, I'm not sure if this was Kalaris's tactic to get like out of our Neut range, but we eventually lose that. Perhaps if it was in different terms, we may have won that, but that was definitely a good fight. This is more so how I deal with the Atrons, basically like starting in the Plex, and less like frantic start. I should have maybe docked up in that last fight and then got out and then been a bit more prepared. But we orbit this dude 5k. We're slightly faster. Don't believe this guy's rocking a T2AB or a speed drug. That's why speed drug's so handy in his Condor, so it can potentially pull range from Atrons. Because their speed's like so handy. Then once we get with the void and antimatter range, our Neut does its work. Eventually turns off their tank, their guns, and it's good for us. Neuts are very awesome and very strong in frigate 1v1s. It's why it's sort of like slasher. I haven't flown it for very long, but I feel like this is what makes this Condor semi-viable for a brawling fit. You see all these tanks gone. It's pretty much GG at this point. I bring my orb in just to secure, like, make sure I don't lose scram or whatever. And yeah, once his E-War drops off us, it's pretty much GG. Okay, this fight's against a Maryland. Basically, like I mentioned before, any blaster boat, you basically want to orbit 5k. That way you're still in the optimal. If you're Neut, you'll be out of Void and antimatter range. Null can still pose a threat, but until they switch to that, basically just chill at 5k. You can decide whether to maybe pull yourself out further, like 7.5 or even 8k if you wish when you switch to Null. If not, it's probably best to just like chill at 5k, you know, what's the word, punish them for if they didn't bring Null, which freaks me out when people don't bring Null. Bring Null in your blaster boats, it helps. Don't just be Void and antimatter. But if they decide too late to switch to Null or don't have Null whatsoever, just punish them for it and chill in this range. Don't like be in their optimal, you know, and just let them blast you down. But the Neuts take effect, the webs dropping off, tanks failing, guns not working, and poor Maryland. Yeah, Condors are not very fun for people to fight. Okay, Punisher are usually quite easy. They're either bait for fleet or like usually a kill that's going to take you a while to get. Use like a wee brick. But basically, I fought this Punisher before and lost. And I want to try it again because I started in bad terms last time. This is a dual web beam Punisher. I'm surprised at how well this dude was able to track. Ideally, I should have probably just worked off. But I want to try again. I started the orbiting at 500. Near the end of this, I try and manual pilot. And it seems to be working quite well. Maybe I started this at the start. So I feel like my orbits like slingshot me out. It's taking so long to get back in just because of the dual webs. So I think that's why I lost like both times. Maybe if I was manual piloting from the start, I might have been able to stay alive long enough to Neut them out. But in all honesty, I probably should have just aligned and worked out. Regardless, GF for that. But this is like another Punisher. Most Punishers are going to be a much easier affair. Like especially if they're dual web like that. It's another, I think, weird like dual web pulse, or I always find it hard to differentiate between pulse and beams. But it's either or one of the energy weapons, so they're easy to get underneath the guns of. I believe this is a single web one, and we quite easily get underneath the guns of him. He doesn't have as big a buffer tank as the last one. He has an active tank, and which is good for our Neut. I found that against like buffer fits, your Neut's not going to take as much effect, right? It will eventually turn off their guns, but like you need the active tank there so they like drain their cap quicker. So like something getting this Punisher is like a lot easier for us. You see the webs dropped off. He's capped out. Can't shoot us anymore, and he can't like tank anymore. So yeah, again like a GF. Most Punishers are relatively easy to deal with, but that was that nice dual web beam one for sure. Okay, this fight's against a Rifter. This is a weird dual prop Rifter. I think this is tackle for a fleet, but this should still apply to like the AB web scram Rifter. You want to orbit 500 and basically allow your speed to do things for you in the Neut. Even if they're web fit, once you Neut them out, their like small ANSI won't work. The webs drop off you, and you'll basically be able to make a lot of the damage for your speed. So you notice at one point Jack starts to miss us. He's getting the occasional little grazing hit. But yeah, once the Neut takes effect, his tank just fails, especially since Mimitar ships have a really bad capacitor pool. This Rifter goes down very quickly. We apply a lot of pressure, turn off his AB, his reps, and we get out. Okay, here we have a fight against Toon Curses. This first one's basically, I think it's a small ANSI, like a rail one, which is very bad for him. I basically orbit 5k, which is what I do for all blaster boats until maybe they switch to Null. And depending on how well I think the Neut's taking effect, we can pull our range out to get out of the damage of the Null, or just continue and hopefully Neut him out. But basically we stick here. He's not doing too much damage to us. He is still getting the odd hit or two, but I'm not sure if that's his drone. But basically I'm not taking too much damage to warrant worry just yet. I don't actually realize that he's rails until I win this. Because I was expecting Curses to be blasters. Just thankfully we're in like a missile boat and we're orbiting. I suppose we would have noticed had he been rails in like a blaster boat. But you'll notice that the webs fell off us. I'm just waiting for the scram to fall off, and that's going to pretty much reassure me that he's fully neuted out. And then basically his tank's going to fail, and then it's pretty much GG for us, man. It's super satisfying. I do end up burning out my AB actually. Rookie error, but thankfully it doesn't really matter too much since we burn out, neuted him out, so you won't be able to activate his AB, his tank, or his guns. So that's why the Neut is so powerful. And yeah, that's a good GF for Electro. Now this is a dual rep incursus we're going to go up against, and it has a reactive, which is interesting, which I think is a detriment to it, because that's going to be eating a lot of his cap. I'd maybe had like a damage control or an energized adaptive, it might have actually been better for it if we weren't Neut fit, right? But since we have the Neut and the cap that it takes to run one of those reactive armor hardeners, especially in something like a frigate, is really hard going. You'll notice our damage and our missiles drops off significantly, but I'm surprised it doesn't actually take too long to Neut out this guy. I was suspecting it to take a lot longer to deal with the dual rep incursus. I thought he'd maybe just like activate one small armor rep, be able to tank us, and then I'd be able to cap up. But that wasn't the case. We do eventually end up neuting out this guy. Like a Neut in a frigate 1v1 is so powerful, especially because most dudes only have like cap life for like less than 1 minute. So like that, what's it called? Basically the cap pressure helps significantly in like fights like this. Especially against, it's unfortunate I couldn't fight any tormentors for you, but like I imagine it'd do very well against like a single web tormentor. Dual web tormentor you basically want to warp out on, but say something like in Curses, you see like all these E-word dropped off on us. I come back in, and that's pretty much like an hour. That's us won. As soon as you see like the E-word drop off from you, you've won it. You also notice that we're doing a lot of damage with our missiles because these reactives turned off. But GF, my friend. Okay guys, that's the face I had for you today. I do hope you guys enjoyed this Condor. I like this Condor for brawling. There is a couple more which you can do that I've seen around that you might consider doing yourself instead of this one. There's like a small ANSI, medium ancillary one that you can do, which dual chang. There's also like a weird like small ANSI NOS TD one that I've seen. You could probably almost also do like a weird armor plate in a low and then a Neut probably fit that some way, but I feel like this one's like a super chill to fly because like buffer fits are quite easy to fly. And the Neut has like a lot of utility that can do great things for us. But yeah, I just generally wouldn't go for, say, it's like stuff like missile boats and drone boats. It can be quite hard for you. You can maybe potentially take out like a breacher or a kestrel, right? If you web his Neut his webs off, maybe it might especially be very potent on the breacher. If you prevent it from doing the small ANSI charges and get his webs off you, you might be able to take a breacher. Maybe it'll be a hard ask, but yeah, I'll leave it at that, boys. Enjoy the rest of your day. I like to thank you guys so much for sticking around. Hope you enjoyed the video and all this, and yeah, take care. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys.